Welcome to Uncanny X-Minutes, where we bring you the comics behind the movies. I'm producer James.
And I'm Stasia.
And we're watching X-Men Days of Future Past, minutes 70 to 80.
Do you want to know what happens, James?
I do want to know what happens.
Mystique and Magneto discuss the future in an airport. Wolverine gets Professor X to kick the substance habit. And Trask is analyzing Mystique's blood.
Oh, no. So, yeah, Mystique dropped some blood.
Yeah.
And Trask was like, ooh, I could do some stuff with this. I can do science.
Weirdly, this has become more canon with the release of X-Men Blue, I think, with this analyzation of, which we've talked about on a different episode. Feel free to go back.
Because Mystique's power is not purely cosmetic.
No, it's DNA based now.
DNA based. So the adaptiveness of the Sentinels in the future of this movie is very accurate.
Yeah, it wasn't at the time, but sure is now.
Sure is now.
This is not fun with comics.
I know, right? I know, right? So I figured today would be a good day to talk about sort of different ways that people have manipulated mutants for their own gain.
Yeah.
Both DNA or body parts or weirdness.
Yeah, that kind of like gross stuff. I think the DNA especially has become, since they kind of transitioned to the X gene, or as it was called, the Essex.
The Essex gene is also, if you go in a timeline, it was called the Essex gene first.
Right.
But like in comic book lore, it was later.
Yeah. But that kind of took over from like the nuclear, like originally if it was radiation, we weren't sure, and then there was some other stuff like the stress.
It's funny when you're reading that Silver Age stuff, there's so much radiation.
Yeah, so much nuclear stuff.
Yeah.
And you're just like, well, this doesn't really,
I mean, it tracked at the time.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But then it's like, how is Spider-Man not a mutant?
Yeah.
Probably because it was like they were born with it.
Right.
Is the problem.
Is the difference.
And he's Maybelline. That's all it is. He would be technically a mutate. Probably. And there's some point, I don't know when the mutate definition became like post-born mutant.
Yeah, that is actually like, because sometimes they call them mutates when they're just like under the spell or like the brainwashing, and they are mutants, so then it gets really confusing with that. Like, but we're gonna,
I feel like that should be a different definition.
I agree, but I think that's what gets people confused, because because sometimes they actually aren't, because like you're like, oh well, there were X-Men that were mutates, and it's like, yeah listen,
well, I mean, Mimic is a mutate because he's not technically a mutant,
right?
So anyway, that's not what we're talking about, though.
No. Kind of, but not
kind
exactly.
Of, not really. I mean, where to even start? Would you like to? Why don't you give me because I've got a couple of big groups that do stuff, and I feel like you've got a lot more smaller.
I have a lot
like
of
you're like
things.
Villains specifically.
Yes, I really, because it's Trask and he's analyzing the DNA and stuff, I was like, okay, who are the villains that like involve themselves in DNA?
Yeah.
The big one I'm saving for last. So
sure.
But I think like I was like, okay, I actually found a really fun scene where it kind of gave me a clue as to who to look for.
Okay.
So in X-Men Endangered Species, so these are the little one-shots in the back of X-Men 200 to 204, X-Factor 21 to 24, Uncanny 48 to 491, and New X-Men 40 to 42. Mm-hmm. This is after M-Day, and when Beast is trying to find a cure for M-Day. And
have they moved to San Francisco at this point? Close to,
this
if
is
not.
like, yeah, it's 200, so like either right around then or they're about to move there.
Okay.
But Beast has tried...
this is adjectiveless X-Men 200.
Oh yes, this is just X-Men 200.
Yeah,
yes. And then Uncanny 488 to 491.
Gotcha.
So it's in a bunch of these. X-Factor is like, it's kind of a crossover. It's the subtitle for it all is Endangered Species. Yeah. So if you look that up.
It's the top on the top of the cover. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so this is after Beast has worked with all of the good scientists, like the good guys, and he's like run out. And so he gets on a phone call.
Because they don't know how to manipulate genes, let's be honest.
Well,
Like,
some of
they
them
know how to
do.
like cure stuff.
Yeah. But like, this is not what we're talking about.
But you need like mutant specialists.
So he gets on a phone call with villains because this is how desperate he is.
Sure.
And in that, it is Dr. Doom,
Okay.
Sugar Man,
Yep.
Sinister. That's the big one.
Obviously.
We're going to save him for
Yeah.
last. High Evolutionary,
Uh-huh.
Dr. Kavita Rao,
Okay.
Mojo, Arnim Zola, MODOK, and Pandemic.
How do you get Mojo on the phone? That's the question.
I mean, Mojo can be anywhere, wherever he wants to be. It's a screen, man. Mojo can show up.
Yeah. I mean, how do you... I feel like he contacts you. He calls you. You don't call him.
I mean, definitely sends them a message and they get a phone call. So like...
Sure. You just got to deal with his people. Yeah.
So I actually kind of was like, oh. So
Yeah.
at least in continuity, if Beast is like, I need to talk to people who can help me figure out what is going on with this X gene thing,
Yeah.
then these are who I'm calling. Very interesting. So
Very
I was like,
interesting.
okay, so let me dig into each of them individually and see what I can find as to like why maybe he would have thought that. I wasn't able to find everything on everybody, but I had some fun highlights.
Well,
so
sometimes I think they're just like... If they haven't done anything specifically with DNA, or at least mutant DNA,
yeah, they're just
really smart scientists.
Yeah, they're actually almost all of them are geneticists. Or
Gotcha.
in Sugarman's case, a gene engineer, but
Oh, we'll come back to the Gene Engineer.
we will.
That was a character's name.
Oh,
the Gene
okay.
Engineer.
Okay, well, he is also defined as that.
Gotcha.
So,
Well, he's from the Age of Apocalypse timeline, so
Yes.
he may have taken the title in that timeline.
I think that's possible. So Dr. Kavita Rao, I was like, oh, she sounds really familiar. What do I know her from? And she was trying to clone mutants from inert mutant DNA. And she was originally the legacy virus cure researcher.
Yup.
And because of Sword and Ord from Breakworld, which you don't need to worry about it.
We've talked about it. It's the Whedon run.
Yeah. Basically, he had a prophecy that his whole world was going to get killed, destroyed by mutants. She is the one that creates the cure.
She's the character. I think we've previously have talked about her in X-Men 3.
Yes. And so that's why she gets this phone call, which I think is really interesting.
That is interesting.
And she is not I've also found this like quite interesting because these are like villains, and she doesn't she kind of fits the profile in that like she's kind of disgraced the scientific community is like shuns her because of this.
I think she has worked with the X-Men. Like
she has.
She's kind of been a good guy at times too.
She's very gray. She's a good. She thinks that she's doing it for the betterment of everybody. Like even with the cure, like she gives Beast information and stuff, but she's like trying to convince him that this is still the right thing to do because there are mutants who are suffering that need this. So she's on this phone call and she is I just wanted to say she works with mutant DNA a lot, and so that makes a lot of sense. She's the one that figures out and uses mutant DNA to literally cure the X gene.
Right.
So I was like, oh, okay, so she has done this. She would be somebody who would analyze
like
this
to reverse it,
to do it the other way. I don't know if this counts, but also I just like put a little note here. I was like, Scarlet Witch villain ? Because when M Day happens, what she technically does is removes the X gene from every single person.
Yeah.
It ceases to exist. Something to keep in mind. So I was like, I'm going to put that in there. I think that counts.
That's the thing. I feel like we don't get a lot of Scarlet Witch in the X-Men movies. So like I hadn't really thought to chat about her too much, but she does go back and forth.
Yeah. And I was like, I think that counts.
That's a very villainous move. But there's
agree.
like other things going on. But
there's a lot
we're not
going
gonna,
on.
Yeah.
Similarly, Dr. Doom in One World Under Doom unexpresses the X gene from everyone. Like that's the little thing. So if Scarlet Witch counts, Doom counts for that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
For sure.
But Doom does it in the same way or the same way as like Dr. Rao would do it, where it's like he thinks putting everyone on the same field is like even.
Is even. Yeah. And
he's like helping.
Yeah. Doom has also dabbled in some mutant DNA stuff before. Depending on how you define mutant and depending on whether or not you just don't believe in some retcons. And
Sure.
like I do. So one, in the original X-Men and Fantastic Four crossover, we've talked about where Kitty Pryde meets Franklin Richards for the first time.
Yeah.
Doom is the one that's there to like work on Kitty Pryde's DNA, trying to save her from like deteriorating as her like atoms are falling apart.
Yeah.
So Doom messes with mutant DNA there. And in the 2020 X-Men Fantastic Four, he is using Franklin Richards' quote unquote mutant DNA and is siphoning power off of it and messing with it in that way.
Bro.
Yeah. And I, as far as I'm concerned, that's going to get re-retconned. I'm going to write that story. I'm going to submit it to Marvel. And so he's going to be mutant again. So that's going to count.
Oh, man. Why? You can't take these people away from us.
Yeah, I refuse. Sugar Man.
Yeah.
Who is also in that phone call, is we talked about Age of Apocalypse, Gene Engineer. He turns mutants into mutates. He does a lot of genetic work with mutants specifically.
Yeah.
So that like tracks like as like another person that is like heavily involved in messing around with the DNA.
And he is, we said Age of Apocalypse, he is actually in the 616.
Yes.
He's one of the ones that got to move over because that storyline was too popular.
Yes. Another one that moved over and is worth talking about is Dark Beast.
Oh,
but
yeah.
actually, in particular, with Norman Osborn.
Oh.
So Norman Osborn has got his fingers in the pies of mutant DNA messing around with.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by that.
Yeah. In Dark X-Men number 2, he utilizes the mutant growth hormone, which this is a whole separate episode.
Yeah,
about
we'll have to get into that another time.
We'll have to do this another time. But I will just say, basically, it's a way to take humans and turn them temporarily, give them temporary, like, mutant superpowers. And that's all you need to know. He does that with the help of Dark Beast in order to make Omega, who is this mutant who absorbs energies and abilities and personalities of every other mutant. So this is like Decimation era. So we're still kind of in the same realm. And they actually release it nearby to him and then use it as a tool to be like, hey, you should join us. We'll help you. Because that he like takes that stuff in unintentionally and he like will kill people, goes on rampages or whatever. And he usually wears a suit. But after there were no more mutants, he stopped. And then they released this to like get him to be like their prison warden, basically.
Okay.
So Norman Osborn messing around with humans, making them kind of mutants, if nothing but temporarily, in order to like fulfill other plans.
I'm telling you, I think Spider-Man villains have a nice like they have some overlap with like X-Men villains sometimes in that they like to mess with genes and stuff a lot.
Funny you should say that. I have another Spider-Man villain.
Oh yeah,
I do.
Is it the one I'm thinking of?
Is it Jackal?
That's the one I'm thinking of.
Miles Warren. Yes. Okay. So
he usually likes to clone a lot, specifically.
Yeah. So this is actually not. It's kind of a clone.
Yeah.
So
like he's why we have the Clone Saga, which is a Spider-Man storyline that a lot of people do not like.
So he breaks into a Sinister lab. Yeah.
Ooh, you don't want to do that.
He breaks into a Sinister lab and he creates Spider-Girl. So like he is the creator of Spider-Girl and he mixes like DNA from Scott Summers, a couple other mutants, a human, and an actual spider to make Spider-Girl. And all from Sinister's lab using the latent DNA, obviously, of the Summers that Sinister has in every single one of his labs.
Sure. Do you know specifically which Spider-Girl?
This is a great question. She is the one from X-Men Green. So,
the one that's literally a spider.
The one that turns
only
into a spider.
Spider-Man, the Spider-Man series has a bunch of Spider-Girls, like different characters that go by the name Spider-Girl.
Okay, this is the one that has shown up in X-Men comics
who
before.
Can literally turn into a spider.
Yeah, she turns into a whole big old spider, scary looking spider. I wish I should have pulled up her name. I didn't see. This is the problem. I don't know that there's
her name is Gwen Warren.
That makes sense because
but
her Jackal is Miles Warren.
Yeah, so. But Spider-Girl is her name. Like
yeah.
That's what it is.
That's all I saw. I was like, oh yeah. So I was like, wow, okay, that one was a really weird one because like It counts because he obviously was successful.
Yeah.
But built on the back of a sinister lab, I think is worth noting.
Sure.
So maybe not so much a researcher, but willing to mess around with it.
mean, he's done his own clones, and the clones have done. It's fine. We don't need to go into.
Yeah.
Because I think he also created the newest Gwenpool. We won't go into that either.
Okay, that's fine.
Too much nonsense that doesn't have to do with X-Men.
Fair enough. High Evolutionary.
Of course.
Which we have talked about with the
yeah.
Maximoff twins. Also worth noting that he actually also depowered everybody by turning off the X gene.
Yep.
Via satellites.
Sure did that.
That's uncanny number 379.
Because if I recall, the plan was turn everyone off and then turn everyone into mutants. Was the full plan, but he only did the first half.
Yeah. And then Sinister picks up where he left off. He gets access to those satellites and then messes around with people's.
Yeah, he.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why that's why it ends up not working, because Sinister backstabs him.
Yeah, X-Men 99. He also has used a piece of a celestial brain to repower Magneto. So he's able to like manipulate Magneto's genes. This is during Decimation also, so this is like post M Day. So this is directly gene related stuff. In Uncanny 507, to use a piece of the brain to repower Magneto.
It is. I do appreciate that the Marvel comics do not completely separate everything.
Yeah.
Like, I do like the little bit of crossover.
Yeah.
Like, otherwise we wouldn't have nonsense like this.
It's really fun. I actually quite enjoyed it. And then last but not least.
Yeah.
If you are interested in any capacity, like legitimately, honestly, if you are interested in the idea of like the DNA part of the X gene, if you're interested in like manipulating it, how it works, like how we get people, like why clones exist, how we can do that you need to read Sinister comics.
Nothing but.
That is his entire thing.
Yep.
Mr. Sinister is literally, they've renamed, like they've retconned, like we mentioned at the top, the X gene was called the Essex factor. Nathaniel Essex is Mr. Sinister's name.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
The whole concept literally boils down to him.
I do believe, and we'll go into Sinister in a different episode, guaranteed. Yeah. But I do believe that he's also been retconned to not be the original Nathaniel Essex.
Yes, I did not include that because I was like, I cannot.
I was double checking because I was like, is he even a mutant anymore? And it's like, kind of not really.
One of the Nathaniel Essex is a mutant, not all of them.
Right. Yeah. But Minister Sinister specifically,
the original
is I don't even think so that it's weird. It depends how you define it.
It depends
because I think he did it through scientific experiments.
But he gave himself the X gene.
Right.
In the new version.
Right.
Anyway,
yeah. Anyway,
we don't got
time for Sinister. He needs his own episode.
Oh, but I will say,
but he is.
If you're interested in this stuff and you read the old stuff, that is like not relevant. That is very new. So like, don't worry about it. If you're interested about DNA and someone messing with DNA and figuring all that stuff out,
the OG is Sinister.
He did, and I'm going to just give some quick bullet points on all the stuff that he's done. So first of all, anything to do with Scott Summers and Jean Grey.
100%.
Straight up, down, left, right. He is, that is like the source of like so much. Mr. Sinister, this goes from the further adventures of Cyclops and Phoenix, which is like retcons then later. But all to say that Cyclops' ancestor is like Mr. Sinister's source of like the Essex factor, so the X gene that then spreads out into all of his experiments moving forward, which is why like
he's so obsessed
with them, and it's kind of been retconned that way, like that came like later with that run.
I'm fine with that.
It's worth noting that is the actual story. Now he is involved with the Black Womb Killer, who is Amanda Mueller. So basically she is a woman that she becomes immortal. Like she lives, but she doesn't like, her body is not immortal. So she ages, but she doesn't die. And she is like a partner with Sinister to just produce.
Oh, I have seen her in things. Yes, I have.
And
interesting.
She just like produces children for Sinister, and a lot of them died. And during a period of time, she becomes known as the Black Womb Killer because like she gets prosecuted for it. But then he steps up as her gynecologist. Sinister is like a gynecologist, like also just worth noting. That's a factual statement. So he becomes her gynecologist. He like stands up in court and says that she's innocent or whatever. But it turns out like she's like they're involved together. Like all of the children in the orphanage where Cyclops ends up, we've mentioned this with Cyclops before with his engagement with Sinister. That is the Black Womb Project, which is with the FBI. Like she starts that after that, and all of those children are managed by Sinister and Amanda.
How was this not New Mutants #2, the second movie?
I know. We really need. Yeah.
I'm so mad.
In X-Men Forever #4, you can read about like the Black Womb Project, which she starts up, and I've actually talked about the Black Womb Project very briefly when we talked about Irene Adler, because she is there. She is part of those like original team working with under Sinister's group, because Amanda Mueller is like Sinister's like right-hand person during this period of time. Sure. So he's involved in that. He also has the Cronus machine, which basically rewrites him into any mutant body. Like he has made a thing where he just can insert his DNA into people. And Xavier this happens to him a lot, actually, a couple times.
I mean, that's kind of how Sins of Sinister happens.
But also in X-Men Legacy 2013, 2014. Sins of Sinister is not even the first time that happens. That's what I'm saying.
Amazing. Because that is what he messes with the Resurrection Protocol in Krakoa.
Yeah.
Kind of rewriting everyone with part of him in him.
It pisses me off more after rereading this. I was like, wait, they put him in charge of this in Krakoa. They already knew he could do this. He already did it to Xavier before, and they just let him do it anyway.
I bet you he figured out a different way to do it.
Yes.
And they were looking for the first way.
They were looking for the first way.
And I bet you he backdoored it.
No Cronus machine necessary this time around. He also just does it the old-fashioned way. He marries women to have mutant kids. He marries women to have mutant kids.
Sure.
That's Faye Livingstone, X-Men Annual 95.
Okay.
He also has implanted his genetic material, which like technically is different than writing it.
That's what we were talking about with Colossus, like Colossus being related to Rasputin.
Also Kane Marco.
I'm saying he's put it in there. He keeps doing it.
He did this to Kane Marco.
That's science, man.
He did this for Professor X, and he also did this to Sebastian Shaw.
But Kane Marco's not a mutant.
Doesn't matter.
I mean, he did it. Doesn't mean it worked.
Doesn't mean it worked. That's an X-Men Forever and Legacy. X-Men Legacy. So if you're interested in those runs, you can do that. And obviously, he created the clone of Jean Grey, Madeline Pryor, in order for them to have a baby, being Cable. So Cable was very specifically engineered, or he thought it would happen, and he was correct, because he needed someone to be able to counter Apocalypse, because Sinister becomes this immortal guy because he goes through like Apocalypse's like he was working for Apocalypse originally. That's basically how this happened. Some other notes: Dark Beast created the Morlocks, which was a retcon.
But that one I didn't know.
That he is the creator of the Morlocks, and that's actually been retcon as to why Sinister wiped out the Morlocks in the movies, because he's like, I'm the one. I don't need competing genetic experiments with mutants. So that is the mutant massacre. And depending on how you define it, I would say that Strife creating the legacy virus, which specifically only attacks mutant DNA. Also something to keep in mind.
All right.
So that is just like quick and dirty.
That was rapid fire. I just have a couple more. We won't go too far into them, but you've got the organization. There's a couple organizations that like doing it too.
Ooh.
One is the U-Men, just the letter U, men.
Okay.
Created in a new X-Men Annual #1, 2001.
Okay.
So this is Grant Morrison's run. Okay. And this is where we're introduced to Zorn.
Oh, yeah.
And the U-Men are basically a cult who are so obsessed with mutants that they want to harvest their organs and put it in themselves so that they can have mutant powers.
Ugh.
Okay? So there's like two eras of this. There is the Grant Morrison era, and this is where you get This is where we get Angel Salvador. We've actually talked about this a bunch.
Yeah.
And No Girl.
Yeah.
Martha Johansson, who we talked about Angel Salvador a bunch. And it's funny because some of this was glanced over because the U-Men weren't really important. Right. So like she gets kicked out of her house and Wolverine, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, we have a mutant you have to go find.
Yeah.
And so when Wolverine goes to find her, she's been kidnapped by U-Men and they're trying to take off her wings because the leader of the U-Men is a man named John Sublime. And John Sublime, for some reason in the Morrison run, is obsessed with having, not like obsessed, but they've mentioned a few times that he wants wings and they keep not, the grafts don't take.
Yeah.
So he can't fly. All of his followers are in these like containment suits. And the reason is the world is impure, according, because they're a cult.
Yeah.
And until they have powers, they're not worthy of being in, like, they're not suited for the world, is kind of the logic behind it. So there is we were talking about like Angel Salvador and Beak being in the woods on a camping trip with Zorn and being attacked. It was by the U-Men. You know, and this is right before like the riot at Xavier's, if we're talking timeline wise. Then they kind of disappear until 2004. And then this is another thing we've talked about when Chamber was in Weapon X.
Yeah.
So at Weapon X 2004, there's a couple of issues where they're like, all right, we're going to make you better, quote unquote. You'll have a face and a chest. They put something on his chest so he could look normal, quote unquote. And he was supposed to go and kill John Sublime as like an initiation for Weapon X. This was the first time where it actually seemed like the grafts were taking. So like in the first one, it was just dudes in suits, containment suits. That's all there is. This one is like, oh, these are starting to be actual mutants is what they look like, but they're all grafted. All right. Then they disappear until 2019.
That's a huge
That's
gap.
a huge jump. It's like everyone forgot the U-Men existed until then. They were in Children of the Atom. Do you remember that one from Krakoa?
Remember Children of the Atom.
They basically, the Children of the Atom are people, it's during the Krakoa, it's like 2019, where they're not actually mutants, but they want to be mutants.
Yeah.
And they have technology. So the U-Men kidnap them and then go, wait a minute, they're not mutants.
Yeah. Never mind.
They're just pretending. They're just cosplaying as mutants. But more importantly is the New Mutants run during that time. Because No Girl used to be, we can't go into it, she's a psychic.
Yeah.
But we're introduced to her firstly as a news item that she had been kidnapped. And then when she shows up in the comics, she's a brain in a jar.
Yeah.
It's this like fish bowl with a bunch of needles in it and a brain. And John Sublime uses it to manipulate mutants. And they rescue her in the new X-Men run. And then she's a brain in a jar forever.
Yeah.
Until Krakoa, where they can give her a body. And she goes by Cerebella. And she is basically in like one of those classic New Mutant uniforms that's just like the big yellow X. And then the top of her brain is like, her head is still her brain, like with a glass dome over it. It looks awesome.
It's very cool.
Love it.
I know. I like it. It looks good.
So the U-Men come back into play, and she is obviously has PTSD from all this. So it basically brings it back in for her as a plot point. It's like the end of the New Mutant run that they have going on. But yeah, so that's weird. Also, weird side note, it feels like John Sublime died 3 times and I couldn't figure out why
he keeps
alive. Coming back. I don't know. It doesn't matter. I think there's something else going on that I missed. But the other one I want to talk about real quick is also Krakoan. I don't know why this is all Krakoan. I mean, there's also like this whole weird thing with Orcus having like it has Wolverine skeletons, and they keep doing stuff with that.
And they're able to like extract
but not so much what we're talking about, but like a little bit what we're talking about.
A little bit.
This is as a group called Xeno, which is like kind of the opposite of the U-Men, where they are very anti-mutant. And X-Force number 1 in the Krakoan age is this big meeting of like a bunch of people in these like very plain looking masks, and they're like, all right, we're going to start our meeting, but we all have to drop a drop of blood to test that we're not mutants because we don't want any mutants here. And it gets to this one person, and it's Domino.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, took a lot of luck to get in here, but it's going to take even more to get out. And then she fights her way out, but she can't. So what ends up happening is
she gets captured. I remember this.
She gets captured.
Yeah.
And then we don't know what's happened with Domino. And at the time, this is early Krakoa. We don't have like the X factor of the time, which is we can't clone not clone, but we can't resurrect someone if we don't have a body.
Yeah.
We don't know they're dead. We can't resurrect them because then there'd be two of them running around, and that's a problem.
Right. That was the whole thing with X Factor too.
That's their whole deal.
Yeah.
Well, I don't even think X Factor was a thing at that point. Like, I think this is so early in the run.
Yeah, we haven't gotten there yet.
So on Krakoa, a bunch of like assassins descend on the island to specifically take out Professor X.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, holy crap, what just happened? Well, it turns out they're bioengineered killers. They're like created whole cloth with like very specific, just to be assassins. Like they have, like their ear can come off and there's a garrote wire in there.
Yeah.
They have like bones in their arms to be basically daggers they could pull out. But more specifically, and the craziest part, is they have grafts of Domino's skin on them.
Yeah, to make them
giving
lucky.
them all luck. And then they find her later, and she is like half flayed. And it's like the whole first arc and a half of X-Force is basically about Domino and this whole situation, and it's fascinating. I was hooked from the get-go on that run.
That run was actually really good. I honestly read to the end of that one because I really liked that. That was like a very interesting X Factor.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Well, like it even got to a part where, so like she doesn't want to be resurrected because like this is like sort of a thing where you could, because she's so kind of high up.
Yeah.
In X-Force, they could just kill her, resurrect her, and she would be fine.
Right.
And she's like, no, I want these scars.
Yeah.
Like, I want to be this. I need to feel this because I need to go back after them. So
she wants it for revenge.
Basically.
Yeah.
So Forge gives her, like, Krakoan skin, essentially. So, like, half her body looks like the Krakoan plant work.
Yeah.
And it's awesome.
They do.
It's a great look for her.
She doesn't have it for super long, but I like it.
She has it for, like, 6-7 issues. But it's so, like, for me, it made such an impact that, like, I remember it very. And then she gets this multi-purpose weapon on her hand that she does keep for a while.
That was very
like
cool.
For the Krakoan run, I think she pretty much has that.
She keeps that.
But like specifically there's a scene where she's like, I think my luck's running out, and she takes a pair of dice and she goes, I can roll 7 or boxcars on these every single time, and she rolls it and she goes, always coming up snake eyes. And I'm like, oh, that's so she she has to go after these people to get her luck back. Love it. They even end up basically creating a killer that is her, like basically a clone of her, but not really a clone of her. Like it looks like an inverse version of her, but it's not her clone. It's just another. So like there's a series of assassinations that happen that are all way too lucky.
Yeah.
Like riding on a train 2 blocks away through a window. Like stuff that's like impossible shots. Only person that could do it would be Domino.
Right.
But she doesn't have luck right now, so she chases her down and finds out that's what it is. Anyway, wild thing to do.
It's like very interesting because like it is still kind of DNA, but like because like it's obviously like using like, but it's more body part as whole.
Yeah.
Which is like interesting.
Yeah. Both of the ones I was looking up were that, where it's like with the with the U-Men, it was like this guy's got X-ray eyes and now I want them, and then one of their guys falls and they're like cutting him up to put those parts into other people. Ugh. Yeah, I know this is very early 2000s.
Yeah,
this
it's
is
very that run.
I mean, I say that, and we just talked about grafting Domino skin onto other people.
Like, I will say X-Force has always kind of been like a little grosser. It's like a little bit more hardcore. That's just kind of what that run is like.
Usually,
no matter what year it is.
Yeah.
But I do think the X-Men in the 2000s were like, that's part of like that's why they have the grosser mutations.
Yeah.
Like they kind of leaned that way for a little bit, and that run is like very interesting. It definitely stands out. It's definitely different, for sure.
For sure. So, mutants have been used all the time.
They could have taken it. They could have gone more with it in the movies, and they didn't really. Like
yeah. Yeah. They basically just created a Nimrod.
Yeah, which is just like, okay.
It's fine. It's fine. I mean, it works though, because they made Sentinels dangerous, and that's really what you need to do.
Sure, that's true. That's true. Because they do look kind of goofy.
They do. All right. Well, I think that about wraps it up. I'm producer James.
And I'm Sasha.
And we'll see you for the next 10.